You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another episode of Random Thoughts. In this one, I want to make things perfectly clear from the start, because this is going to be kind of a controversial topic, I think. But I just want to be clear, I love animals. I don't like them getting hurt. Obviously, that's not something I'm all about. I don't like to be a hypocrite about it, though, because I eat meat, and I would rather testing be done on animals than humans, because humans are obviously more valuable than animals. I say that purely from a humanist standpoint, I guess would be the term I would use. Because obviously I value life. Like, I'm one of those people who thinks that people who say animals don't have souls are ridiculous, because I think animals absolutely have souls. But at the same time, animals are lesser than people. I mean, that's just the order of nature. That's how things work. That's how it is. And I have pets, right? We have dogs. I love dogs. And I do put dogs on a pedestal above most animals. I tend to, like dogs more than most animals, and I like dogs. Like, I like being around dogs more than I like being around a lot of people, obviously. And there are plenty of things that I've seen with animals online that have made me sick, like that festival in China where they beat dogs to death. That makes me really angry. It fills me with rage. So when I talk about what I'm going to talk about today, just understand, I'm not saying that I don't love animals, and I'm not saying that the things that I talk about aren't wrong, but I am trying to point out some hypocrisy here with things. So what made me decide to make this video is Cold Raven, a YouTuber who I watch and I really like, and let me be clear, I like Cold Raven, I like his content, and this is not meant as a dig at him in any way, shape, or form, and in fact I like the video that I'm even talking about in question to an extent. He has done a really good job pointing out a YouTuber who has done a lot of really fucked up stuff. He's done a really good job helping get someone taken down who was violating terms of service by sharing audio from illegal content. Like, he's done a great job with that, so I do want to commend Cold Raven for that. And this was tied to that. So there was a YouTuber that Cold Raven did a bunch of videos on, and by a bunch, I think he did like 2 or 3, called Burn Show, and Burn Show himself was, again, sharing himself, like, he did, like, reactions to illegal content involving children. I think you can figure out what I'm talking about. And Cold Raven did a pretty good video exposing that, and pointing it out, and helping get him taken down from YouTube, which, obviously, that guy was violating terms of service. He was doing some really shady shit. Makes sense. Good. That was good on Cold Raven for doing that. And some ordinary gamers also did some videos on that, right? But then, Cold Raven did a video talking about some shit Burn Show was sharing in his Discord, some animal abuse videos. Now, obviously, I don't like animal abuse. Animal abuse is bad. And I think people who abuse animals are fucked up in the head. Like especially if it's particularly sadistic abuse, which these videos were from the description. Basically, like, he described a video that Burn Show had shared on his Discord called 2 Cats, 1 Guillotine. And he was talking about how, you know, it was cats being brutalized and killed with a guillotine. The people who were making the video sadistically laughing about it. Now, obviously, making that video should be illegal in most places because abusing animals is typically illegal. Like, there's a difference between killing animals and abusing animals. I think when you're sadistically torturing them, yeah, that's pretty bad. Which obviously this was. But Cold Raven himself said that this is, like, the worst kind of video he's seen. And that made me think, hold on, wait a second. You literally even said in this video how you've watched yourself tons of cartel decapitations, tons of, like, suicides on air and stuff like that. Like, he reviews fucked up mixtapes with actual human gore. You know, and I haven't watched every single one of his videos, but I'm willing to bet at least some of those were people committing murder sadistically. Like, I don't know if he's watched shit like 1 Lunatic, 1 Ice Pick, or 3 Guys, 1 Hammer, or anything like that. But he tried to say that this was, like, worse than the stuff he'd seen. Now, granted, again, I don't know if he's seen any of those ones in particular, so I'm not gonna ascribe any of that to him. But that kind of shit is out there, and to me, that's so much worse. To see humans get brutalized, to me, is so much worse than seeing animals get brutalized. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't like either one. Obviously, I've watched my fair share of stuff on, like, LiveLeak of, like, you know, car accidents and shootings and stuff like that. And it's not like I like those things. It's a morbid curiosity, if anything, right? Like, it's not something I enjoy. And I've never gone out of my way to watch, like, animal abuse. But, you know, I've seen movies like Cannibal Holocaust that have real animal death in them. And granted, with Cannibal Holocaust, all the deaths were clean and quick and, like, humane. And the animals were eaten on the set. I honestly think Cannibal Holocaust was completely ethical in the way that they did it. Like that's another thing. People have a problem with Cannibal Holocaust for that reason, and I don't. I don't think that's a problem at all, because Cannibal Holocaust handled it in an ethical way. Obviously, you know, whoever made the cat video, that's fucked up. Maybe look into that. But Cold Raven said he'd be okay if it was made illegal to share stuff like that. Now, maybe this was a misspeak. Maybe this was me misinterpreting it. But, my guy, you review fucking mixtapes of people being brutally killed and, like, hurt and stuff. Like, something doesn't compute to me when you're losing your shit over some cats. But you're totally fine seeing, like, Bud Dwyer blow his brains out, or, like, cartels cutting off somebody's head, or fucking all this other stuff, right? Like I said, I don't know every single video he's seen, so I don't know if he's watched Three Guys, One Hammer, or One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. But those are literal snuff films, right? They were recorded by the people committing the crime. So I think it's weird to act like just because it's cats, somehow that's worse than, like, some of these other ones out there. Like, I think it's all bad. I think it's bad that, like, you know, people made that shit. But I think it's really weird and a little bit hypocritical to be okay when it's happening to humans, but as soon as it's animals, to suddenly draw a line there. And it's funny, because I often would make fun of Chisu for using the term animal supremacist, but he's not entirely wrong. Because Chisu uses this term a lot for people who, like, lose their shit over animal death, but have no care in the world when it's human death. And I'm not gonna lie, obviously, like I said, I put dogs on a pedestal above any other animal. If it was dogs, I'd, you know, be a little bit more angry than cats, because, frankly, I don't really like cats. Cats piss me off. I don't want to hurt cats. I don't like people who hurt cats, but I don't like cats. But, like, I noticed this just trend of people, like, losing their shit over stuff like that when they don't care about people, but they care about animals. And again, I'm not saying Cold Raven doesn't care about people, don't get me wrong. Like I said, Cold Raven's a cool guy. I like Cold Raven. I'm not trying to talk shit on him. It's just his comment is what made me want to make this video. And again, Burn Show is a piece of shit, so Cold Raven was absolutely in the right for exposing him. So, no issue with that. That's all good. But, like, another example I have is, like, with King Cobra JFS, with the whole Puff situation. I don't care about Puff, the lizard, the bearded dragon that King Cobra JFS either killed or lost. I don't care about that. Because I don't think he would have done anything maliciously to it, and if he accidentally killed it, of course he feels like shit, I would imagine. But he can't talk about it because, again, everyone's just going to be like, ah, see, we told you. And, like, yeah, if that happened, you know, that sucks. But the thing is, people will dehumanize Josh, King Cobra JFS, and, like, he's my favorite lolcow to watch. I love to watch content made about him. But people will dehumanize Josh in his situation, but be totally fine, like, will lose their shit over a fucking lizard. They care more about a fucking lizard than they do Josh. Josh is a human being, a person. They care more about a stupid bearded dragon that he had for a few months than they do about him. Like, don't get me wrong, if something bad happened to, something bad clearly did happen to Puff, whether or not he actually lost him, or whether or not he killed him in some ignorant or negligent way, or whatever. Yeah, that's something definitely happened to Puff. But Josh is a human being, and people go out of their way to torment him. So I think it's really hypocritical to lose your shit over a lizard, when there's plenty of people online who are being pieces of shit calling the cops on him, getting them to go to his house to fuck with him. And, like, granted, I'll say this, most of the lolcow detractors go out of their way to condemn that. I think most people in the Cobraverse agree. Anyone who's calling the police on Josh is a piece of shit and needs to knock it off. But it's just a thing I notice where, like, it seems like people care more about animals than people. And, you know, Corbin and I were talking about this just the other day when I was thinking about making this video in the first place. And Corbin brought up a good point. He said people probably like to, you know, put animals on this pedestal above other people because animals won't reject them. Animals won't tell them they hate them. Animals won't talk back to them. Animals won't, you know, tell them no. So it's almost a power thing, I think, with a lot of people. And I'm not saying that about any of the individuals in this video. Let me be clear. But I'm saying with some people, I do think it is that. That's why animals get put on such a pedestal. And don't get me wrong, like I said, I put dogs on a pedestal. I absolutely do. Like, it does piss me off. Like, if someone's hurting a dog especially, I get pretty angry. And And I can see people seeing that as hypocritical, but at least I acknowledge I'm putting dogs on a pedestal above any other animal. I still value human life more than a dog's life, even if I value a dog's life a lot. And I think, dogs, they've co-evolved with us throughout history, so there is that bond. Whereas I think they're like the next species, like after humans. Like, I value human life, dog life, and then the rest. That's kind of how it goes, right? And, maybe that's a subjective line I go on, but I think that, evolutionarily and, based on loyalty and how much our species have, like, had a symbiotic relationship, that's why. But anyway, I've rambled on a lot. Like I said, I have nothing against any of the people that I've talked about today, other than Burn Show, obviously. Burn Show's a piece of shit, but he's not on YouTube anymore, so that's good. But yeah, I just think it's odd that people will draw the line at that. Like, again, especially people like Cold Raven, who reviews gory mixtapes of real human gore and death. Just seems like an odd distinction to me. Just thought I'd point that out. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good one. Toodles.
You take forever to say nothing.
Subscribe, the Fugitive Red Eye.